What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video, and today's video is the first in a series that we're going to do on the upgrading your SRT-4. Now, a little disclaimer, this series of videos assumes that your car has already been sorted out, doesn't have any real issues, doesn't have things like boost leaks or oil leaks or any number of other potential problems with your car. We're assuming the car is in good working order and all maintenance has been performed. So today's specific topic on this series of videos is your first round of basic upgrades to keep the car in good solid order. Now, the first thing that I recommend are Booger Bushings. Now, these are bushings to upgrade on the shifter. There are 4 of them. They go on each end of the shifter cables and just makes the shifting work that much better because, of course, we know these cars are notorious for having issues, especially with third gear. And so having a more firm shift and more solid shift is always a good idea. Now, another thing in the same line with your transmission and shifting is your clutch fork throwout bearing pivot ball. You want to go ahead and upgrade that with a billet one whenever you have the transmission out and are doing a clutch job because they are notorious for breaking and wearing down. And of course, at the same time, while you're doing the clutch fork pivot ball, you also should upgrade the clutch fork itself because they are also known for wearing down and breaking, and you don't want to be stuck somewhere because your clutch throwout bearing just stops working. Now, the next thing on the list are solid mounts. So there are 4 mounts on the car, there are 3 on the engine and 1 on the transmission, and you should upgrade all of them with solid mounts. So the 2 that are easy to do on the engine side are the top and the bottom mounts. These are actually anti-rotation mounts, and they just keep the engine from rocking back and forth. The main motor mount on the SRT-4 engine is actually located by it's in the frame rail, and you need to go ahead and take a good chunk of the engine apart to be able to get to it for where you're doing your timing belt replacement. And so while you're in there replacing that mount, if you need to replace the mount, you should also do your timing belt as well as your water pump, or vice versa. If you are doing a timing belt job and water pump job on your car, this is a good time to replace that 4th mount with a solid mount. And then of course the other mount on the drivetrain is on the transmission, which is located underneath the battery tray, and this again I recommend replacing with a solid mount. I'm using SDK mounts on mine. There are a variety of mounts that you can choose from, and it just makes the car a lot more stable. There are people out there that say it just starts shaking the car really violently once you've replaced these mounts. I can tell you, as having all the mounts replaced on my car, that's not the case. It's barely noticeable, the increased vibration at all. So the next thing on the list to replace on your SRT-4 is going to be adding a catch can. And these are great. They go in line between the PCV valve on the valve cover and the intake, and it's just a great way to catch the oil that's going past the PCV valve and keep it from going back into the engine through the intake manifold. And so I've got one from Modern Performance in here, and so they're just a great thing to add on any turbo vehicle. And the one thing I really like about the one from Modern Performance is it's also got an additional tubing out the side to be able to visually see how full the catch can is for when you need to drain it. And now the last thing for your basic upgrades that I recommend is replacing the lower control arm bushings or the lower control arms entirely. If you're doing just the bushings, going with like a polyurethane bushing, spherical bearings, Delrin inserts, things like that make the lower control arm that much more secured. Or you can go and replace the entire lower control arm. I've got Darrell Cox Racing lower control arms on mine. You can go ahead and get things like Real Tune, I believe it is, makes tubular control arms. There are a variety of options that you can go ahead and choose from. And of course, all of these things, I will put links in the description below for examples for these products. So that way, if you are in the need of purchasing these, it's quick and easy for you to be able to find them. Just click on the links. And that's today's video. Those are the first 5 upgrades that I recommend for your SRT-4. Just get some of the basics out of the way, make the car that much more solid of a platform before we start adding a bunch of power to it. So if you liked today's video and found it informational, go ahead and smash that like button, give us that thumbs up. Helps out with that YouTube algorithm. And of course, if you want to be kept up to date with all my future uploads, like the other videos that I'm going to do in the series, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. and ring that notification bell as well, so that way YouTube will keep you up to date of all the videos I do in the future. And as always guys, I will see you the next video.